Hello, I'm Jake and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be cutting this wheel arch off my 1973 Datsun 510 and welding on a new metal arch. If you've seen the previous episodes, you'll have seen that I've already done this to the other side, but hopefully we'll get this side done a little bit quicker. Step 1, jack off your car. Wait, what? Here we are with the door open, and as you can see, this side actually doesn't look very bad at the moment. So this wheel arch repair is less about rust repair than the other side was. And there is a little bit of bubbling here, but nothing too bad. And more about gaining some wheel arch clearance and putting this other arch on so it matches the other side. And eventually, I will also put two of these arches on the front as well, but that's a job for another day. Now it's time to get cutting. So there I was, just made a start on cutting off the rear arch. The side that I said previously I didn't think was too bad. And look what's inside here. Look at all that crustiness. Lovely. Looks like there's like quite a few layers of metal. So there's the outer here. There's whatever this bit is. There's another layer there. Yeah, sort of makes me feel less bad about cutting the side up now. Well, keep cutting, see what we find. A bit of cutting later, and this is where we are. I would say overall I'm not overly happy with this side. The quarter panel's okay. The inner arch here has got several layers and is pretty poorly repaired. But what's quite annoying is this area in the sort of door shut. You can see it's been brazed, which is an odd choice, but still, there's a lot of repairs the whole way down that section, all the way down into this bottom corner here, which is pretty poorly repaired. You can see there's sort of two layers here as well where there shouldn't be. I'd say overall this side has been more poorly repaired than the other, and it is therefore going to be a bit more work, but we're making progress. Going to keep on cutting. To get the fit up nice on this part, what I've done is just tacked it into place at both ends. I'm going to come along the cutting disc at 45 degrees, sort of up into this gap here, which will then trim these two panels to a nice angular joint. Should minimise the gap. Allow me to fit it up nicely. Here we are a few hours of work later, spread over a couple of days. I've done a couple of panels here on the sill and doorstep. The inner has had quite a lot of repair, so this one here goes round the corner onto the inner sill, and then there's some closing panels here. Sort of built this corner up, tacked the arch in place, and I'm going to start working on filling this gap in. I'm certainly glad the other side wasn't as difficult. It's definitely a lot more work on this side, mainly this area, but we're getting there. After a while, this is where we are. Everything is tacked up. I'm about to start welding it properly. As you can see, I've done the whole outer arch tacked all the way around. This sort of area here has been done very similar to what I did on the other side. End of the sill. And also a few patches inside. So yeah, I keep forgetting to film stuff. This is where we are at the moment. Now to start welding a bit. So I'm just in the middle of welding up this wheel arch, and the funniest thing happened. Nobody wants to hear this, but I'll tell you anyway because I thought it was pretty funny. So basically my garage jeans have a hole in the crotch because they're just shitty old jeans I use for the garage. And evidently my boxers do as well. And I've sat down on this wooden stool and felt the cold embrace of it on a singular bollock. And I thought it was pretty funny, so thought I'd tell you. You didn't want to hear it, but oh well. So here I am, a little while later, welded up the outside of this arch, mostly ground it back a little bit. I'll probably have to go back over and fill in a few pinholes at some point. But for now I've made a start on the inner arch, and to be honest, it's quite frustrating stuff. Main torch ran out of battery, so I'm using this little thing, which is not really bright enough. I sort of need like 3 hands to weld, hold stuff in place, hold the torch. Some panels need like a bit more sort of force to hold them into place, especially when they're a little bit twisted or whatever. And yeah, it's just pretty frustrating stuff. It's taken ages as well. I think there's a very good reason if you pay somebody to do jobs like this. It costs quite a lot of money. It's just time consuming really, and not really that enjoyable either. Still, making progress. We're getting there. Figured I should actually film some stuff on this car, so this is where we currently are. I've welded up most of this stuff on the inside here, and these holes over here are about the last of it. So it's the bottom of the rear quarter. I've just recently finished a patch on the end of here to basically blend in with this, because before it ended about there. But yeah, this section over here, you can see through up to the garage door there as well. But basically this area is the last part of welding, at least. And yeah, very slowly getting there. Also, honourable mention for the weather this week. It has been really lovely. Sun, it's early morning, but the sun is shining. Yeah, it's amazing how much difference the weather makes to your mood. It's great. Let's make some progress. So I'm just tucking in this panel on the sort of bottom of the rear quarter. I thought I'd show you what I do when it comes to welding on the edge of panels. You can see I've got my little block of aluminium here that I use quite often. And basically this corner here, which is right on the corner of this panel, quite often if you weld up to the edge of a panel it will burn back. So I always leave these panels oversized while welding, and then I'll just trim it down sort of in line with that once I'm done. But you can see I put this block of aluminium behind, and basically tack welded this outside corner first, almost onto the metal, onto the aluminium, which then stops this corner from burning back. So then when you go around, you don't end up with these annoying bits where the edges burn back. Yeah, just a little tip I found helps out. And yeah, aluminium's not really stuck to it. You can see it's a little bit burned back there, so I might just put that block behind there and give it another go. Finished welding in this patch on the end of the rear quarter. And as you can see, I've left this lip quite far longer than it needs to be. And the reason I do that is so after I finish welding it all up, like I have now, I can basically cut along to where I've marked the line and leave that lip exactly the right length. I've always found if I try and cut that to length before I weld the panel in, something will shift and then the inner and outer won't line up. There ends up being, it's just a pain really, whereas leaving it long like this does give you a little bit of freedom. And I've also welded up on the inside here, patch here, which you can see is a bit longer. And one thing I have included in this is this drain. I'm not sure it's easy to see or not, but basically to allow any water that gets trapped inside here to come out through that drain hole. A lot of times when people do aftermarket repairs like this, they forget to do stuff like that. And then you just get water building up inside and it'll rust out again in no time. But yeah, need to trim this bit off, and then I need to make a start on bending this lip round to meet the sort of contour of the arch. Very nearly done with all the welding, I think, on this side. See this all the way on the sill, all the way around. Not a pleasant job, and it's taken me ages, probably about a month into this at the moment, with the little time I do get.
just went off.
There we go, back in the garage again after some familying, and I've finished cutting off the lip along the bottom here. I've also folded over this end bit that was left deliberately too long, trimmed it and welded round. So yeah, as you can see, finishes off the end of that quite nicely. And yeah, that's just the welding about done. So we've done the sill, we've done all around the inner here, inside arch, the whole arch panel around the outside, end of the sill on this side. Quite a big job compared to the other side. But yeah, about there. I'm probably going to give it a once over with a grinder, make sure I've not missed any pinholes that need welding up. Also all inside of there as well. And yeah, then it'll be on to seam sealer, underseal, paint, filler, that sort of stuff. The stuff that will make the final repair look like it wasn't done by an idiot, hopefully. So I'm aware it's been quite a long time since the last video. I think probably 6 weeks or so at this point. So this is where I'm going to leave this video for today. As you can see, the wheel arch is all in one piece. Quite a lot more work than the other side in terms of welding and metal work. Wouldn't quite call it fabrication, fabric cobbling maybe. But yeah, outer arch same as the other along with the inner. But also quite a bit of work on the end of the sill on this side and the bottom of the rear quarter on this side. But overall I'm fairly happy with it. It's not perfect. I'm not a metal worker, I'm not a fabricator. I'm just an idiot in a garage having a go, really. That's what it is. As you can see, I've got a reasonable amount of clearance here. Wheel looks pretty good. This is lower than it will be at ride height. I basically jacked it up till it's softly on the bump stop just to check clearances and everything, and it all looks pretty good. So next thing is going to be sealing all this up. I've got some rust converter stuff to put in the inner arch where it's a little bit surface rusty, underseal, paint, filler, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's it for today. And hopefully next time you see this car, it'll be out driving about and hopefully a single shade of orange. I'm not making any promises though. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like that sort of stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, my bones!